Thank you very much. You can all hear me now, right? Okay, awesome. So I am based in Johannesburg, despite the slightly BBC accent. So, but I have been here for 9 years, and I'm a permanent resident and love this place. Okay, so I need a show of hands. How many of you in the room have time traveled before? Nobody? Oh, there's one. No, there's two. There's two. Okay, so we got some experience in the room, but I haven't personally, but that's what we're going to do today. We're going to step forward in time to 2030, right? You've been hearing a lot about the wonderful innovations from OpenText and the wonderful investments they're making, and AI, Gen AI, hyper-automation, all these wonderful things. We're going to take you to 2030 and then bring you back from there. And you're going to see in an interview between Arno as himself, as the Datacentrix digital strategist, and myself playing the role of a client. So, introduce myself. As I said, I'm Phil Anderson. I'm from Datacentrix. I'm the sales leader for our digital business. I've been a consultant for about 20-odd years, working between the intersection of business and technology, and that's kind of where I live, is helping clients embrace this new tech and working through how that's going to deliver value for the business. Arno?
Good morning, Arno, digital strategist, recently joined Datacentrix about 4 months ago. Heading up digital strategy in terms of strategic thinking, transformation plans, and being critical problem solvers for our clients. It's kind of what we try and do inside the DBS division and Datacentrix. So, Phil, over to you.
Awesome. You ready to time travel, guys? Yes. Okay, let's go. Arno, how are you doing? Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Phil. Nice to see you again, Phil. And what a fantastic venue we have here, sitting in the Endeavour, looking at Earth 1.
I tell you, it's absolutely lovely of Elon to lend us his Mars orbiter for the trip. And the fact he painted it in green and gold to celebrate the fact that for the last 7 years, South Africa have won World Cups in every sport imaginable, right? Every sport. And just to jump out of character, that's a British guy saying that, guys. Right? Putting Razzie as the head coach for every sports team was really paid off, right?
Absolutely, stroke of genius.
So do you remember where we met?
So, funny enough, Phil, it was actually 7 years to the day that we met here in Josie at the OpenText Summit, right?
It was indeed, mate, and back then you had hair.
And you were a lot thinner as well.
That is true. Time has not been kind to me on that front. Look, and do you remember what we were doing in terms of and how we actually met? Do you remember the context?
I think our very first engagement, Phil, was Datacentrix offered a design thinking workshop, which at that time was kind of aimed at gaining interest into the AI side, and I think you attended the design thinking workshop, Phil.
We did, from small beginnings, right? Rocked up to your stand, you started talking about all these things, all these wonderful things I could potentially do for my business. I kind of thought, great, sounds good, but how do we make it real, right?
And it's the strange thing, Phil, is we heard it earlier today in previous slides, is I started mentioning AI and how AI will transform our business. And doesn't matter which facet of business we're thinking of, sales, customer relationships, finance, SEM, logistics, that AI will play a fairly critical, if not necessary role in these facets. And I think you were a little bit skeptic back then, Phil.
I was, and it was the time, OpenText.ai launched Aviator, the Titanium roadmap had just been released. So it was a really interesting time, but it was obviously a huge hype curve for AI in the market, right? So the next step was to do that design thinking workshop.
Yeah, and you know what? At this workshop, when we do this design thinking, it's really aimed at identifying the stakeholders' needs from the outside in. And during this workshop, we actually noticed that, we are here, that the OpenText AI and Aviator platform was launched. And shortly after that, I think you had your first use case, Phil.
We did, and it was in my legal department, which was, to be frank, costing me an awful lot of money, because what was happening is my content was distributed in many different data stores, and what my lawyers were having to do, great lawyers, by the way, but they were having to look through lots of content in lots of different places. We had some SharePoint repositories, we had some network storage, we had stuff on people's hard drives, we had all this content sitting everywhere, and I was having to pay so much in third-party lawyer fees because my lawyers weren't actually doing their job. They were searching for content, right?
Yep.
That was my problem.
And to be fair, you really had a good start. You already were a Documentum client.
Yep.
You had XECM, the SAP enabler. And we kind of looked from this base platform, what can we do with the current new OpenText AI solutions to kind of leverage your stack, your capabilities to deliver more to your clients. And I think also at that time, you were quite a high fan of joining the OpenText cloud, right?
Yeah, we had a cloud-first strategy, but it was very sensitive data, right? That was the problem, right? So OpenText having the private cloud option as well was really where we needed to go. So that really made sense for us at the time, yeah? Yeah,
so, and I think also during that workshop, and we kind of showed you how to reorganize your data and, the power of the AI content creation. The big breakthrough, of course, for us was when we deployed the LLM on your reorganized data, large language model. Generative AI, we looked at how we can actually add a virtual assistant onto your reorganized data. And if I remember correctly, you actually gained a lot from those insights, right?
Look, I think the interesting thing was when you said we've first got to classify, understand all the data out there, I thought I was in for quite a big bill, to be honest. But it was the tools that OT provided to auto-tag, auto-classify all of the data from any of these enterprise data sources that actually made that something actually achievable, when in the past we hadn't been able to do it. Because we didn't have those tools, it would have been a manual effort in the main. Right, so that was a game changer for us in terms of the way that we were able to do that. I think, the other bit, what it did when we got the full solution in place was essentially my lawyers could be lawyers, right? So what I got from it is that the 80% of those people's time that was being spent searching for data, trying to get the case history, trying to get all the interactions, right? Trying to get all of the different pieces of the jigsaw they needed to form the right legal opinion, that was what they were finding the data for. That was 80% of the time. When we freed that up, when we finally got all of those things in place, the large language model, all the other bits, I didn't need to pay third-party lawyers' fees anymore. I could do everything with my in-house team, right? And that created some budget we could do some more interesting things with, right?
And that's the really cool part, was because when we freed up that cash, known back then, we could actually redeploy that and a new investment towards a customer journey. You had a big drive to look at your customer and endpoint kind of engagements. From the endpoint engagements, Phil, I think we jointly decided to go on a customer experience journey.
Look, we did. I mean, at the time, I remember reading the stats. Actually, it was from the OpenText CEO's white paper on their website. It said that 88% of customers believe that the service is more important even than the actual product, right? So that the experience was everything. Now, these days in 2030, I mean, that's got to be, there's so much product competition, that's got to be 100%, right? You can buy a product from anyone. We all care about service these days, right? So that was my problem from an experience perspective, right? That was really where I needed to go.
Yeah. And Phil, from at that moment when you saw these savings that can be done, I think that was your eureka moment, right? Where you decided you're going to go with OpenText because you thought it was basically more of a a file management kind of. What was your thought before you learned about customer experience?
I think, look, I knew OpenText in the market, right? But my perception was great document management, capability, right? But it was only when we started really actually unpacking who OpenText are, where they've been investing, what they've been doing, and the Aviator, and all of these different innovations they're coming out with, that we realized that we had an opportunity to join up the entire customer journey, right? And that was the thing for us was, as a business, we work in a number of silos, right? All of our enterprise businesses, right? And I'm sure anybody in the room will testify. The hardest thing to do is actually become one cohesive business in front of a client, right? That is the most tricky thing to do. And using the OpenText platform, we were able to break down those silos between marketing, right? Between the contact center, right? Between the digital channels, right? And between even the creatives in terms of content, right? And it's about locking together that end-to-end journey. And Arno, you can remember how we started doing that, right? I remember
when we looked at it the first time, well, we really dug deep into your customer journey or your channels that you were utilizing, and it wasn't pretty. Let's be honest. It was difficult for you to engage with the end clients, didn't really reach target markets, and customers found it difficult to engage with you.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think, Phil, when we actually sat down, we really had to get our heads around the customer themselves. How do we utilize the OpenText platform to create predictive analytics to anticipate customer behavior, not only to be in line with market trends, but also in terms of managing demand patterns in the market? You could be able to, when you employ this, you change from a reactive strategy to a proactive strategy, and that for you was a game changer. And I think you have some stats for us in the first couple of months that you deployed it.
Yeah, I mean, you're dead right. That was our issue. Being able to actually talk to the customer with one voice, right? And actually, the new things that our company was bringing online were being done through separate campaigns. Nothing was joined up. We were able to speak to the customer with one voice. So that gave me 35% increase in cross-sell, upsell, and it gave me about 60% increase in new lead conversion, right? So for me, that was a game changer. I was like top boy at Exco, right? It's absolutely awesome, yeah.
And actually, the nice thing from Phil's studies, it actually culminated into a use case study for us. We would actually draw real value from. And Phil, so you were one of the first ones to do the AI content creation adoption.
Yep.
It was actually automatically classifying, extracting data for you. It was making sure that all the correct data was going to your end client. You could personalize customer interaction experience from the content platform. You could scale on demand to what was needed. And I think finally, Phil, it was very important for you in the legal arena that compliance and risk had to be maintained inside this generative AI, of course, environment to make sure you stay compliant. If I'm not mistaken, Phil, we did deploy an LLM and a virtual assistant, and there was an article that was published about your company, right? I forgot the name. Sorry, what was the article?
It was that News 24 was the old website. But when we used to use like websites, right?
Yeah.
Weird, huh? And the title was this new chatbot. It's the first chatbot you actually want to talk to, right?
So Phil, we've gone through your journey now. You were in the beginning at the design thinking workshop. You were inquisitive. You were kicking a bit of the tires around OpenText, thinking what to do. You became then, let's say, adoptive. You adopted the OpenText platform, especially the Aviator and the generative AI journey and the solutions. And now, 7 years later, Phil, I'm going to call you nothing short of an evangelist of OpenText. So Given all the successes you've had here on Mars, Phil, what's next?
Well, I mean, we need to look at the Earth 2 and Earth 3 rollouts, right? Earth 1 we got waxed, but we still need permission from Global President Trump to do Earth 2 and Earth 3, so that's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, you know the guy, it's going to take time to work through,
yeah,
right?
Of course.
But no, it's been a fabulous journey, Arno. Really thank Datacentrix for being our partner on it. And I think that is where we will close. And
Thank you very much, Phil.
Let's get back to Earth.
All the best for you.
So, now we just got to wrap up. Cool. Thank you. Right, end scene. So we are not the best actors in the world. You understand that, right? However, hopefully you did see the point getting across. So Arno, if you do your quick wrap up, and then
yeah. So I think what we're trying to bring across with this little bit of a ditty we showed you today is that these solutions of generative AI, we're all looking towards the future, but it's actually here today. It's available now. The majority of companies have generative AI drives that they're looking to employ. So from that point of view, what we're saying here is not futuristic. It's actually available today. So,
yeah, cool. So I'm just going to wrap up. First, I'm going to say thank you for your attention and thank you for your time. And I'm just going to leave you with 3 things. You know that old 3 things trick? I'm going to use that one, right? So the first thing I'm going to leave you with, right, is OT's invested heavily in this future, and that future is here and available today. There are breakout talks you'll see this afternoon. I think Sabin's doing one on Aviator. You know, so this detail is here today. We can do this now. The second thing I want to mention is AI is a huge hype curve. It is a revolution. It is here. But there is no AI without IA, information architecture, right? So you can go and you can dive into all of these wonderful AI things, but you need to get your house in order in terms of the data within your landscape, right? You have a whole bunch, yeah, a lot of people are in agreement with that one, right? And the last thing I want to say is we're here to work with you on that journey as Datacentrix. We're a platinum partner, have been for many, many years with OpenText, you know, very strong, deep relationship going back many years. If you come and see us at our booth afterwards, you can come and sign up for one of these design thinking workshops we're talking about, which we have a specific method for AI design thinking workshops, right? And we really look forward to engaging with you further. And have a great time today, soak in as much as you can, and we'll see you out in the hall for food at lunch. Thanks very much for your time.